Good morning all. Today we are going to discuss different classes of antibiotics. Actually, when we are suffering from an infection or disease, we usually go to doctor and the doctor prescribe antibiotics. It is a common practice. So you should be aware of the different antibiotics because each of them are having different usage and also different mechanism of action. So today we can review most important classes of antibiotics. The bacteria themselves can be divided into mainly two broad classes that you are already familiar, gram-positive and gram-negative. The classes derive these names from the Gram test itself, which involve what? That is the Gram staining method, which involved the addition of violet dye, that is crystal violet, to the bacteria. Gram-positive bacteria retain that color, primary stain, while gram-negative bacteria retain the color of the counter stain, and it may appear pink or red. In this case, the gram-negative bacteria, they are more resistant to antibodies and antibiotics than gram-positive because they have a largely impermeable cell wall. The bacteria responsible for MRSA, that is methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus, that is MRSA, and acne. These are examples of gram-positive bacteria because Staphylococcus aureus is a gram-positive, while those responsible for Lyme's disease and pneumonia are examples of gram-negative bacteria. Okay. So we can start from the different most important classes of antibiotics. First one is beta-lactam. Beta-lactams are wide range of antibiotics, and the first of which is to be discovered was penicillin, and it was discovered by Alexander Fleming in 1928. All the beta-lactam antibiotics contain a beta-lactam ring. So I think the picture, yes, the most widely used antibiotic, that is a beta-lactam ring. This is the beta-lactam ring. So the beta-lactam antibiotics, everything contain this beta-lactam ring. They include amoxicillin and cephalosporins. These are the most important classes. Nowadays there are lots and lots of beta-lactam antibiotics. So how they work? They work by interfering with the synthesis of peptidoglycan, that is the important component of cell wall, and are mostly used against gram-positive bacteria. So this antibiotic is mostly used against gram-positive bacteria. The bacteria can, however, develop resistance to these beta-lactams that we will study in detail later. Here we can mention about how the resistance develop through several routes. How? Including the production of enzymes by the bacteria. Bacteria produces certain enzymes, and that enzymes are capable of breaking down the beta-lactam ring of these antibiotics. In the NHS, the penicillin are the most commonly prescribed antibiotics, with amoxicillin being the most common in this class. I think you are familiar with amoxicillin because whenever you feel any throat pain or any other infections, etc., doctor usually prescribe mox for 5 days, like that, if you have any severe throat infection or any else. Next group is sulfonamides. Prontosil. It is a sulfonamide which was first commercially available antibiotic, and it was developed in 1932. A significant number of sulfonamide antibiotics were subsequently developed, and it is defined as a broad spectrum antibiotics, which means which can be applicable to many group of bacteria, and they are capable of acting on both gram-positive and gram-negative. Unlike these beta-lactams, they do not act by directly killing the bacteria. How they act? They can act by inhibiting bacterial synthesis of B vitamin folate. So, the bacteria usually synthesize this vitamin. That is, B vitamin folate is usually synthesized by the bacteria. This antibiotic interfere in this synthesis. That's how it acts. And it prevents the growth and reproduction of bacteria, because this vitamin is very important for the growth and reproduction of the bacteria. Thus, indirectly, it causes harm to the bacteria. In the present day, sulfonamides are rarely used because due to the development of bacterial resistance, and also other toxic side effects are affecting the liver, that is hepatotoxicity. Next is aminoglycosides. This aminoglycosides main action is it inhibits the protein synthesis in bacteria, and this may lead to cell death. They are only effective against certain gram-negative bacteria as well as some gram-positive bacteria, but are not absorbed during the digestion. So they are not taken orally. So they must be injected. Okay. In the treatment of tuberculosis, streptomycin was the first aminoglycoside used. It was found to be effective. However, due to some issues with toxicity, their present day use is limited. Next important group is tetracyclines. Tetracyclines are the broad spectrum antibiotics. They are active against many important group of bacteria. They are active against both gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. Like the sulfonamides, they inhibit what? Protein synthesis, inhibiting the growth and reproduction of bacteria. Nowadays, their use is decreasing because of the increasing incidence of bacterial resistance. They still find use in the treatment of acne, urinary tract infection, respiratory tract infection, as well as chlamydia infections. They must be taken in isolation, often 2 hours before or after eating, as they can easily bind with food. Because if we are taking along with food, what happens? This can easily bind with food, and this may reduces the absorption. Next important antibiotic is chloramphenicol, another broad spectrum antibiotic. This chloramphenicol also acts by inhibiting protein synthesis, and thus growth and reproduction of the bacteria also inhibits. Chloramphenicol and tetracycline. However, it is also bactericidal against a limited number of bacteria. Due to the possibility of serious toxic effects in developed countries, it is generally only used in cases where the infections are deemed to be life-threatening. Although it is also occasionally used in the treatment of eye infections. Have you noticed in the eye drops, the content of the eye drops you check? It contains sometimes chloramphenicol. Okay, if you are getting those eye drops, you check what is the content inside this eye drops. Despite this, it is much more common antibiotic in developing countries because of its low cost and availability. And it is recommended by WHO as an effective first-line treatment for meningitis in those countries with a low income. Okay. Next is macrolides. Like much like beta-lactams, they are mainly effective against gram-positive bacteria. However, they act in a bacteriostatic manner, not bactericidal, bacteriostatic, which prevent the growth and reproduction by inhibiting protein synthesis. So their action is also inhibiting protein synthesis. And their effectiveness is marginally broader than that of penicillin. So penicillin is more effective. And they have been shown to be effective against several species of bacteria than penicillin are not. That is another advantage. Those species in which penicillin is not effective, to that species macrolides are effective. While some bacterial species have developed resistance to macrolides, but they are still the second most commonly prescribed antibiotics. And among these macrolides, erythromycin, it is being most commonly prescribed in this class. Next is about glycopeptides. The glycopeptides, the most important and the most commonly used glycopeptide is drug vancomycin, which is used as a drug of last resort when other antibiotics are failed, such as when this drug can be used in the case of severe life-threatening conditions. While this is to be used the last line of defense against infection, particularly MRSA. So in the case of this methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus, to this type, because this MRSA are most commonly resistant to every type of antibiotics. So for this, vancomycins are used. The more recent development of newer antibiotics in other classes has provided other options too. Nowadays, this vancomycin is also showing resistance to this Staph aureus, MRSA. That is another important issue. Nonetheless, there remain strict guidelines on the circumstances in which vancomycin can be used to treat infections in order to delay the development of resistance. The bacteria against which glycopeptides are active are otherwise somewhat limited, and mostly their main action is inhibiting the growth and reproduction rather than killing bacteria directly. Next group is oxazolidinones. Oxazolidinones are active against gram-positive and they act mainly by inhibiting protein synthesis, hence growth and reproduction. So among this, linezolid is commonly used and it was approved for use in 2000. Was the first marked antibiotic in this class. Although the compound cycloserine has been used as a second-line tuberculosis treatment, and this comes under this oxazolidinones. While this linezolid is expensive, there is another disadvantage, and resistance seem to be developing relatively slowly since its introduction. Next is ansamycins. This class of antibiotics are effective against gram-positive as well as gram-negative, and their main action is inhibition of the production of RNA, which has important biological roles inside the cell, that is transcription, cells of bacteria, and this may lead to the death of the bacterial cell. A superclass of antibiotic is rifamycin, comes under ansamycin, which is used to treat tuberculosis and leprosy. Uncommonly, this may also demonstrate antiviral activity too. Next is quinolones. These are the bactericidal compounds which interfere in the replication and transcription of DNA in bacterial cells. They are also broad-spectrum antibiotics widely used in urinary tract infections and also other type of hospital-acquired infections where resistance to older class of antibiotics is suspected. Additionally, their use for veterinary purpose is also widespread, and resistance to quinolones have been particularly rapid in its development. In US, they were most commonly prescribed antibiotic in 2002. And also it is prescription for unrecommended conditions or viral infections is a significant contributor to the development of resistance. This group also developed resistance. Next is streptogramins. These are unusual in that they are usually administered as a combination of two antibiotic drugs from different groups within the class, streptogramin A and streptogramin B. On their own, these compounds show inhibiting activity, growth inhibiting activity.